dedicated to eastern and southern Kentucky. This is WYMT Mountain News Weekend Edition.
Good morning, I'm Taylor Upchurch. Today is Sunday, April 14th. This morning we begin with a severe weather alert. Severe thunderstorms are expected today with damaging wind gusts up to 70 miles per hour. Let's check in with meteorologist Shane Smith for the latest. Shane?
Good morning, Taylor, and good morning to you at home. We are watching the potential of severe weather this afternoon, although we are already seeing some rain roll across eastern Kentucky. Here's a look at our weather cam in Whitesburg, and the rain not coming down too bad just yet up into Letcher County, but other parts of the coverage area seeing some heavier showers and even a few embedded rumbles of thunder. In fact, had a decent little rain shower just roll through the station a few minutes ago. We could hear it up on the rooftop. That's extending back up towards Buckhorn and up into Breathitt County. Also some heavier rain to the east of West Liberty, in between West Liberty and Paintsville, right along the Mountain Parkway up towards Salyersville, seeing a decent little round of showers this morning. Now, this first line of showers and storms is going to move through over the next couple hours, and we're not expecting any severe weather with it. Maybe a few gusty winds and some heavy rain, but the bulk of the severe weather holds off to the afternoon, and that's going to be because once this first round moves out, we see a little sunshine come out and we see those temperatures pop up. Now, right now, we're generally into the upper 50s to low 60s, but those thermometers are set to soar once this first round of rain moves out. In fact, we're heading to the upper 70s this afternoon, and that will help fuel that severe weather threat later in the day. So we're calling it a medium risk severe weather alert day. We'll have the strong storms this morning, a break in the action, and then depending on how much sunshine we see during that break, will determine how strong those storms will be this afternoon. Gusty winds possible in excess of 60 to 70 miles per hour. We'll talk more about the timing of the storms and have a look at future view and when they may move into your neighborhood coming up here in a few minutes, Taylor.
All right, thank you, Shane. Day 3 of Hillbilly Days kicked off yesterday morning. The weather was not nearly as bad yesterday as it was in Pikeville on Friday, and a short storm damaged many vendors. WYMT's Marianne Fletcher explains.
A sudden storm.
Oh boy, yeah, that kind of came out of nowhere.
Day 2 of Hillbilly Days brought just a few minutes of destruction.
We were seeing on the apps and nothing was showing up there. So we thought, oh, okay, it will just pass us. It won't hit us here.
Alani Jimenez works as a cartoonist, drawing smiles at festivals.
We appreciate everyone who comes back every year and gets a caricature done.
But Friday's short, powerful storm turned many upside down.
One of our other booths totally got blown upside down.
Their booth, along with many like Miss Piggy's pork shop, received heavy damage.
I've been coming down here with him since I was a little kid working, and then started my own up.
Doug Grusham owns Mr. Beefy's, while his father owns Miss Piggy's.
He had to fold up shop and go home.
The storm destroyed his father's stand, forcing him to close up early.
I mean, he's disappointed for sure. You know, he loves being down here and serving the people and stuff.
Even our anchor Steve Hensley was caught in the storm live on air.
We'll do the best we can here. I hope you can still hear me.
But at the end of the day, thankfully no one lost their life.
Yep, we're good. We're good, so.
In Pike County, Marianne Fletcher, WYMT Mountain News.
During that storm, one person was taken to Pikeville Medical Center while 4 others with minor injuries refused treatment. And also yesterday morning, the political stump speeches began. This year, the annual event hosted gubernatorial candidates. Rocky Atkins, Andy Beshear, Matt Bevin, Adam Edelin, Robert Goforth, and Goforth's running mate, Mike Hogan, were there. Each candidate had 3 minutes to speak to the crowd. We spoke with Matt Bevin about the event.
My job is to make the case to people as to why I would like their vote again, and I would. I ask people for their vote again, but it's going to be based on what we've done already, bringing jobs, opportunity, and hope in just a new change to Kentucky. And my job is to make that case in 3 minutes.
During Governor Bevin's speech, many in the crowd made their opinions heard with signs and chanting. Some sides said, "Bye bye Bevin," and "Bully Bevin is a thug." During his speech, he even mentioned them saying, quote, "I find it ironic that people who talk about thugs and bullies are screaming and yelling and acting kind of like thugs and bullies." end quote. And while in eastern Kentucky, Governor Bevin also stopped in Inez yesterday. He addressed people in Martin County and allowed them to ask questions about many key issues in the state. Bevin talked a lot about his views for economic growth and how to get there. As Amber Sipe explains, he also had time to answer some tough questions, ranging from the water crisis to the public education system.
Sharing a message of opportunity and economic growth, Kentucky Governor Matt Bevin stopped in Inez on Saturday.
We need to just out-hustle other states for opportunities.
But Martin County residents were left wondering how a struggling county fights or prepares for that kind of growth.
If we don't have good infrastructure, then people can't be confident that this is a place that they can and want to raise their families. And good infrastructure involves the water, the sewer, the roads.
The conversation quickly transitioned to fixing issues like Martin County water.
We are dedicating every resource we can, both state dollars and channeling federal dollars into this. And we're making progress.
Progress that residents hope will lead to a solid supply of clean water. Others in the crowd came to ask tough questions about the legislative session. Teachers asked Governor Bevin about pensions and why he says they need to fix the system.
We now have more retirees than people working. The system is completely broken.
Bevin says big pension promises have been made in years past, and those are no longer realistic because the workforce is shrinking.
Knowing that it is not possible to continue to sustain it, even for those current employees and retirees, why, under any circumstance, would we make the same promise to a future employee?
Teachers spoke up about charter schools, worrying those would take money from the public school system, but Bevin says they've been misinformed.
And it gives parents and it gives students some option other than the abject failure they've been getting decade after decade after decade.
He says charter schools would still follow public school standards and teachers would be state certified. While teachers were skeptical of his response, it all circled back to providing opportunity to everyone in eastern Kentucky, something most in the audience were in favor of, but with a lot of work in front of them to get there. Amber Sipe, WSAZ, News Channel 3, Inez.
Governor Bevin says he's pushing hard to bring more economic opportunities to the state. He was asked why companies like Enerblue suspended plans for a Pikeville facility. He says the company had a problem raising the capital to come to the area. However, he says he's confident in Brady Industries, and they're completely committed to keeping that promise of bringing hundreds of jobs to the area. In fact, Bevin says to stay tuned for an economic announcement in the next few days. And with the gubernatorial candidates addressing the crowd at Hillbilly Days, Democratic candidate Rocky Adkins announced an endorsement he recently received from United Mine Workers of America. The state chair of the organization said in a statement, quote, "Rocky Adkins is a champion for the working families of Kentucky. He's always fought alongside us in the trenches as the Democratic leader in the state house," end quote. More than 9,000 retirees across the state of Kentucky are represented by the group. And now on to Knox County, where Kentucky State Police are investigating after a 2-year-old was found in a pond. The incident happened on Wilton School Road in the Woodbine community around 6:00 p.m. on Saturday night. The toddler was taken to Baptist Health Corbin, where it was pronounced dead. Officials have not released if it was a boy or a girl. We'll continue to update this story with more information as it becomes available. And officials from Perry County Sheriff's Office and Hazard Police Department are still searching for a man and a woman who they believe may have been involved in a shooting Friday night. This is video from the scene of the shooting. We don't know if the condition of the man who was shot multiple times last night near the train tracks in the Christopher community. Hazard High School was placed in lockdown following the shooting. Because the high school's prom was last night, there was an increased presence of police officers to make sure the students stayed safe. And officials with Kentucky State Police and family members of Tony Hinkle are asking for your help in finding him. The 26-year-old father of 3 has lived in Clay County for most of his life. He went missing about 1 month ago and was last seen at a homeless shelter in Frankfort. Police have said they do not have any other information or evidence that would suggest he's dead. Contact Kentucky State Police Post 11 if you have any information on where he might be. An emotional message from a father who wants to find his daughter. This morning, we're hearing from Savannah Spurlock's father, who gave a heartfelt message on Facebook yesterday as the number of days she's been missing reaches 100. The young mother of 4 was last seen leaving a Lexington bar on January 4th. Police believe she left with 3 men and she likely went to Garrard County. Police tell us they have had extensive searches of that area. Friends, volunteers, and strangers have joined the effort to find Spurlock, and her father says that's been the one good thing that's come from the terrible event that has rocked them to their core.
Through what at times feels like overwhelming despair over the past 3 months, we also feel overcome with gratitude. There are so many people and groups that we feel eternally grateful towards.
Spurlock reminds people of the $10,000 reward being offered to the person or persons that provides the tip to find Savannah Spurlock. And yesterday, April 13th, was a day of remembrance of one Pulaski County sheriff who was assassinated. Pulaski County Sheriff Sam Catron was murdered 17 years ago on April 13th in 2002. Sheriff Catron finished a campaign speech at a volunteer fire department when he was assassinated by Danny Shelley. Catron was running for a 5th term as sheriff. Jeff Morris, his former deputy who campaigned against him, along with Kenneth White, were in the plot. Shelley and Morris were sentenced to life in prison with a chance of parole in 2027. White was sentenced to life in prison without the chance of parole. White died in prison in November of 2018 of natural causes. A documentary called Choices was made showing a reenactment of the shooting. Coming